Okay, hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching this video. Now, I'm recording this video in order to reinforce what we either were not able to finish or what we were able to finish but was not quite clear because of the time constraints. So what I'm going to do now is to review those parts of the dynamic amortization calculator which were not so clear or which we weren't able to fully discuss when we were talking about or when we were learning about this dynamic amortization table. So let me just quickly review this portion of the table. We already learned the other part, this one. The loan principal is 5 million and the equity to be paid by the borrower is 10%. So that means that the amount to be financed is it's 90% of 5 million, which is just the amount multiplied by 1 minus the percentage of the equity. Okay, and what we did here was we made this as we did some data validation here, and we also fixed the format so that even if it appears as with text, it's actually a number. Okay, so we also, given the year, we use VLOOKUP in order to determine the corresponding interest rate. We used VLOOKUP, okay? And then we said that since this is a housing loan, and usually for commercial loans, it's usually monthly, paid monthly. So for the total periods, this is easily computed by the number of years multiplied by the frequency of compounding. And then the rate will be, it's equal to the annual rate divided by the compounding. And then we computed for the amortization. We use the PMT function of Excel. This is our rate. It's the monthly rate. And our number of periods is the number of months. And then this is our present value, which is 4.5 million. We also did data validation here for the free compounding, can be annual, semi-annual, quarterly, bi-monthly, and monthly. And since we're doing a housing loan, the payment is always monthly. Okay, so we're choosing 12. So based on this, if we're just going to total how much was paid based on a monthly amortization of 39,075 and then 360 months, the total amount paid is 14,067,000. Okay, then we computed for this. We also did some spinner button here. Okay, this ranges from 0 up to 10,000. Okay, so let me just leave that for a while. Okay, so if we have extra payment every month of 1,000, then our total payment per period will be the monthly amortization, okay, plus the extra payment. So that will be 40,075. So since we have now technically a new annuity, a new amortization, then the total periods to retire the 4.5 million loan should be lower than 360 because we're paying more every month. So we can compute for this using NPER. And then the rate is 0.8229, comma. The PMT is the new amount, the adjusted one, the one where we added 39 and 1,000. And then comma, the present value is 4.5 million. For the future value, we ignore. Then for the type, we can type here 0 or just ignore it. This is annuity ordinary. Okay, now what we get is, oops, sorry. One of the cash flow has to be negative. Okay, that's why if we didn't put a negative to one of the cash flow, we're getting a weird answer. Number of years is -80. That's definitely not possible. So we have to put one cash flow. I'll put negative to PMT, or you put negative. You can put negative to PV. It doesn't matter. You still get the same answer. So this is okay. So this is 314.5 months. Okay. Now we don't want the number of months to be in a fraction, so we will just round this up to the higher month. Okay, so that we'll say that it will take us 315 months to finish or retire this loan. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the round function. I'm going to use the round up function. So notice there are 3 round functions in Excel. Okay, so we have round down, and round up. Okay, so the round function will it will round up the in this case round up. We'll round it up to the highest integer. So if the answer was 315.4, it will round it up to the higher integer. So for the syntax, it's number and then the number of digits. Okay, which means that we're not we will put just no decimal place. Okay, so I'm going to put there 0 for the number of digits. Okay, so there, it's now 315. Okay, when we initially did this portion, okay, just the answer was 314.49. But because we rounded it up, it became 315. Had we used round down, it would have become 314. Okay, so I hope that's clear. All right, we want to do that so that later on we won't be having problems with the cumulative interest payments. I'll show you that in a while. Okay, so this is 315. So for the number of years now, number of years will be, so that's 315 months divided by 12. Okay, so that's 26.25. No problem with having fractional years. Okay, so our total payment with extra, if we pay extra, our total payment will be equal to, so we're paying 40,000 every month, multiplied by that by the number of months, 315. Okay, so this will be our total payment if we have extra payment of 1,000. It will be less than, compared to 14 million if we're not having extra payments. The savings is just the difference between the total payment without extra payment, okay, minus the total payment with extra. Okay, and the total interest payments will be the total payments with extra minus the principal balance, principal of 4,500. And we learned that if we keep on increasing this, okay, if we keep on increasing the extra payment, the number of periods that we're going to pay the loan will be, of course, will become smaller. Okay. And then our savings will become bigger. Our total interest will become smaller. If we max this out to 10,000 for adding 10,000 every month, then the total interest will be 3.9 million. There will be a savings of 5.6 million as compared to if we're not going to have extra payment. As I said, our total payment will be 14 million as compared to 8.44 million. Okay, so let me just put this back to, okay, at least 1,000. Okay, then just a quick review with this one. Okay, we said that the first row is quite okay. We will not need any formula for that because definitely we will have a month one. Okay, the beginning balance is simply the amount that was loaned. Then this will be the payment. The extra payment, we will get it from this cell. Okay. And then interest will be based on whatever the beginning balance is multiplied by the monthly rate. And then the principal will be, the principal payment will be whatever we paid, the monthly payment plus the extra payment minus the interest. So that will be the amount that will go to principal. And the month end principal, the balance will be just the difference between the beginning balance and the principal payment. Okay, so that's for row 1. Now for row 2, we already did this before. Let me just quickly review it. So for month 2, our formula was, if the previous month is nothing, give us nothing. And then if the preceding principal balance is less than 0.01, okay, if it's just less than 0.01, then don't add any more to the month. Otherwise, we add 1 to the previous month. Okay. For the beginning balance, it will be also, if there's no month here, then don't give us any more beginning balance. Otherwise, get the balance at the previous month. For the payment, same thing. If there's no month, here, then don't give any payment. Then we said that if the beginning balance, we inserted this, we changed our formula before, because we have to account, or we have to make sure that if the beginning balance was less than the monthly amortization of 39,000, then we should not be paying 39,000. Okay, we said here that if the beginning balance is already less than, if it's greater than 39,000, then okay, we still pay 39,000. However, if it's less than 39,000, what we're going to pay is the balance, that's C21, and then times the interest that will be incurred on the beginning balance. So if this is 10,000, and then since it's less than the monthly amortization of 39,000, we will not pay 39,000. We'll just pay the 10,000 and then plus the interest on the 10,000. So that's it, this one. This is the beginning balance, and then we add the interest on the beginning balance. Okay. So for this one, we said for extra payment, if the month, if this month is nothing, then give us nothing. And then if again the beginning balance is greater than the monthly amortization, then we get the extra payment. Okay, H6. Okay, this is H6. This one, that's your extra payment. Okay, we're looking at the extra payment, right? Otherwise, if your beginning balance is already less than your monthly amortization, then we should put here 0. Do not make any extra payment. Okay. All right. So the interest will always be, it's the beginning balance multiplied by the by the interest rate factor. Okay. So if B21 is nothing, give us nothing. However, if there's still a month here, then we should multiply the beginning balance by the monthly rate. And the principal will be, again, if the month is nothing, then put nothing in the principal. If there's a month here, then we sum up the payment and the extra payment and then subtract the interest payment. That's the amount that will go to the principal. Okay, lastly, if the month has nothing, then let's not put anything. If the difference between the beginning balance and the principal payment is greater than 0.01, then we have to reflect the month-end principal, which is the difference between the beginning balance and the principal. Otherwise, let's put 0. If the difference between the beginning balance and the principal is less than 0.01, then we can forgive and just put 0 here. Okay, so no more principal balance. Okay, so what we did was to copy this down. We said that we'll copy it way down. Okay, and let's just check our our last amount here. So for this one, we're still using 30 years. Okay, 30 years, and then with an extra payment of 1,000. So it says here that the number of months it will take us to completely pay the loan is 315 months, and that's reflected here. It's 315. Okay, so this is correct, 315. And then notice that the balance at month 15, 315 is only 19,000, 19.77,000. So that's way below, less than 39,000, which is the monthly amortization. So you notice that we're not paying 39,075 a year. The original model that we had was just to copy 39,075, which is not correct because we will have excess payment. So also no more extra payment. Okay, so what did we say was the amount to be paid? It's the beginning balance plus the interest on the beginning balance, which is 162.73. Okay, so the sum of this is actually this one. All right, and then the principal will be this one because it's the sum of your payment and your extra payment minus your interest. Okay, so 19,937 plus 0 minus 162. Okay, that gives us 19,774. So that closes out our loan, 315. Okay. So once again, guys, if we don't have any excess payment here, okay, notice that if we don't have any excess payment here, the figures here will be just the same as the ones here. 360, 360, 14,067, 14,067. And our model also will reflect 360 months. There, 360 months. Okay, so this also captures, the model is now dynamic. If we, let's suppose this changes into 20 years. Okay, 20 years. And then we give an extra payment at 5,000. So without extra payment, we will need to pay 240 for 240 months, the amortization of 39,052. Okay. However, with the extra payment, let's say of 4,000, we'll be paying 43,000 all in all, but it will take us only 192 months to completely pay off our loan. Okay, that's 192 months. Okay, so the total savings is 1.1 million. That's the difference between the 9.372 and the 8.265 here. Okay, let's check if indeed our amortization table is at 192. Okay, so it's 192. So you notice again that the principal balance at month 192 is only 2,430. So we're not paying the total 39 of the amortization of 39,052. Okay, and then eventually it closes out. Okay, and also, if you recall, guys, I asked you, notice that the formatting also changes. The formatting also follows the number of months. So let me just illustrate how we do that. So in order to do conditional formatting, okay, what we can do is let's highlight this. Let's format the ones in green, the money columns from beginning balance up to month end. So I'm going to format this. I'm going to highlight up to maybe row 700, Okay, this is what we did when we copied the formula, right? Up to row 700. Okay, I want to make sure that when our model changes changes in value in terms of number of months, then the formatting should also change. It should be variable. Kung ano lang may value, guys, yun lang magkakaroon ng formatting. Otherwise, kung hindi natin gawin yun, may mga maiiwan na na mga formatted cells. Okay? Or meron mga cells na may laman na may value pero wala siyang format. Okay, since the formatting is fixed. So let me repeat, guys, how do we make the formatting a variable? How do we make it follow? How do we only format those cells with numbers in it? Okay, so once again, highlight natin hanggang row 70. Okay, hinalight ko hanggang row 70 kasi bakit hanggang 700 kasi baka kung gagawin natin, for example, to papayagan natin yung 50 years. So that's 600, no? 600 rows. So just in case na maggawa tayong provision na mas matagal pa kaysa sa 30 years yung term ng loan. Okay, so you go home here, go to home, and then we have here conditional formatting. Okay, ito yung conditional formatting. Okay, then we click new rules. New rule tayo. Okay. Tapos, ang pipiliin natin, so ito, no, format all cells based on their values, format only cells that contain, format only top or bottom rank values. Okay. We're going to choose here, format only cells that contain. Okay. We're going to choose this. And then here, ano na pipiliin natin? Format only cells that contain. Ito, let's click this. Ito, no blanks. Yan. Pag sinabi no blanks, ibig sabihin, yung mga may laman lang. Okay? Siya lang yung ifo-format. Yung mga no blanks. So, format natin. Format. Okay. I'm going to format the field. Lalagyan lang natin. Kunyari, babaguhin kong kulay para makita nyo, guys. No? I'm going to make it, yan, ito, light na lang na yellow. And then let me put borders. Okay, I'm going to choose this, itong dotted line na to. I'm going to put dotted lines dun sa border niyan. Okay, or you can choose a solid line here. Pwede rin yan. Okay. So naka-solid line na siya. Okay. So I press OK. There. Okay. Okay. So ang ma-format lang dito guys, yung cells that contain no blanks. So yan, tingnan nyo ha. No blanks. Okay. So if I change this, kunyari gawin kong ano lang, 1,000 lang to. No? So that means hanggang row 226. So row 226. Row 226 may format. Yan. Okay, ganun din dito guys. No? Sa left hand side naman dun sa year, ganun din. You can highlight this. Binago ko lang yung kulay para may distinction lang doon. I'll just extend it to row 700. Then once again, home. Okay, conditional formatting. Okay, new rules. New rules tayo. Okay, tapos yung second one, format only cells that contain, okay, no blanks. Yung mga no blanks lang, yung that contain no blanks, ibig sabihin yung may mga laman lang. Format natin, tapos also ang border ko, gagawin kong solid line here. And then ang fill, gagawin kong gray siya para medyo separate siya dun sa sa money column natin. Okay, I'll just use this. Okay. Okay. So once I okay that, guys, okay. So ang ma-format lang niyan yung yung those that contain no blanks, no? So if I change this, okay, sabihin natin gawin natin tong 3,000. So 202 months to complete the payment. Let's see if this is 202. Okay, tama nga, 202. And notice the formatting followed. No? Sumunod yung formatting. Kung sino lang yung may laman, siya lang yung naka-format. Okay. I hope that's clear. Okay, then lastly, ang i-discuss ko na lang itong may cumulative payment. No? I'm going to flash the formula so that makita natin. Pero tingnan muna natin kung ano na nangyayari sa cumulative formulas natin. Okay, when we change anything here, for example, so balik natin sa 30 years to, no? 30 years. So up to 30 years yung payment. Tapos sabihin natin meron tayong extra payment. So yung 30 years natin, nagiging 21.58 years lang, no? Or nagiging 259 months. Okay, so what will now happen is that ang mag-a-appear lang dito sa cumulative natin, ito. So that's 21.58 months, so that's 22 months, no? 22 months, kasi more than 21 months eh. Tapos hanggang month 259. So 259 ba yung month na makukomplete natin yung payment? Let's see. 259, yes, 259. So ang mangyayari dito guys, kung ano man yung yung tapos ng pagbayad doon, kung 22 years ba yan, o 25 years, or 30 years, that's what will be reflected here. Okay, so just to illustrate once again, naglitan ko lang para kitang-kita natin kaagad. Just to illustrate, so let me remove the extra payment. Okay, 30 years, okay, 360 yung number of months that we will be able to pay off the loan. So 360 din to, no? Kasi wala naman tayong extra payment dito. Then dapat yung cumulative payment natin 30 years din tapos 360 months. Okay, so it will follow, no? It will follow kung ano man yung magiging number of months. Okay, whether my interest, whether my extra payment or not. Okay, so what will be the formula here? Paano natin kukunin yung cumulative interest? Pag sinabi natin cumulative interest, gusto natin i-add up yung total interest natin for year 1. So si year 1 is from month 1 up to month 12. So what will happen is that Excel will add up all the interest here from month 1 hanggang month 12. Ito yun. Ito, no? I-add up niyan. Kasi yan total interest natin for the first year, which is from month 1 up to month 12. And then dito naman, yung principal i-add niya. Okay, notice guys, sa year 1, mas malaki talaga yung ina-allocate for interest kaysa kay principal. And then if you inspect the numbers here, okay, sa year 2, the month is from 13 to 24. Sa year 3, it's from 25 up to 36. Okay, sa year 30, okay, it's from 349 up to 360. Okay, notice the pattern here, no? May pattern to. Ito yung 2, kasi from at saka 2, yung 2 will always be our frequency, which is 12 times the year, no? Diba? 12 times 1, month 12 yon. Tapos 12 times 2, that's month 24. 12 times 3, that's 36. But if you keep on multiplying yung year natin with the frequency, which is 12, you will get the ending of the month. So 29 times 12, that's 348. 30 times 12, that's 360. Okay? However, guys, kung may extra payment tayo, kunyari maglalagay ako dito ng 2,000, notice na it will end in 24 years na to. No? 24 years at saka yung months natin 283. So let's check. 24 years ito at saka yung month natin 283. Okay, so it's dynamic, no? It is a dynamic computation of cumulative interest and cumulative principal. So how to set this up? Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. So for year 1, syempre, it's month 1 lang hanggang month 12. Wala nang ano yun, wala nang pagbabago yun, ano? 1 to 12 lang talaga siya. And our cumulative interest, ang formula natin dyan is this one. So there's a function in Excel called cumulative interest. Yan. Cumulative IPMT, cumulative interest payment. There. Okay, so the parameters that are needed is the rate, the NPER, number of periods, the present value, the start period, and the end period. Yun ang kailangan natin dito. No? Bali, ito yung start natin. Start of the, sa corresponding year, ito yung start ng month niya at saka end. Okay? Start and end, or from and to. Okay, sa cumulative payment naman, it's the same, exactly the same function, pero ang ano natin, ang function is cumulative principal. Cumulative principal payment. So ganun din, rate, NPER, PV, start period, end period, at saka type. Okay, so let's compute for it for the first month muna. So for the first month, it will be, okay, cumulative interest payment. This is our rate, yung D30 natin, itong 0.8229. Our NPER, okay, yung NPER medyo tricky, ano? Pero kasi kung magkakaroon tayo ng extra payment, di ba liliit yung ano natin, yung number of periods natin? Initially, kung walang ano to, kung walang extra payment, 360 to. However, because nag-extra payment tayo ng 2,000, naging 283 na lang to. Okay? So that's what we're going to use. Ano na ngayon yung bagong NPER natin? Kasi may extra payment tayo. So we link it there to H8. No? H8. And then D8, this will be your present value. Okay? And then start period will be, yung start period natin will be yung itong start, tapos yung end natin, itong end natin dito for year 1, that's 1 to 12, di ba? So this is actually yung K20 natin, that's 1, no? Tapos itong L20 natin, that's your 12. And then 0, you have to include 0 kasi hindi siya mag-work kung hindi natin ilagay kung annuity due yan or ordinary. Ito lang guys yung time value of money na function na kailangan talaga ilalagay yung 0. Okay? At saka siyempre kung annuity due, kailangan natin ilagay 1. So naglagay ko ng negative dito, no? Kasi positive yung ano natin, yung present value. So pag hindi tayo maglagay ng negative dito, magiging negative yung answer natin. So that's 441120. Yun ang cumulative interest natin. And then yung cumulative payment natin, everything is the same. Pareho yung mga parameters natin. Actually, hindi pa natin kailangan i-fix to kasi hindi pa naman natin ikakapit yung formula na to. Iba yung magiging formula natin sa year, sa second row, no? Okay, then H8. Okay, this is your NPER, yung bagong periods natin because of additional payment. Then D8, present value natin. Then ganoon din tong start period at saka end period. At saka may 0 din for annuity ordinary. Okay? So yun ang ano natin. If we add up all the cumulative payment for the first year, ang total niya 5721. Okay, now let's go to year 2 kasi ito yung pinaka-critical, ano? Okay. Tanong, kailan magkaka-year 2? So, parang yung kanina, guys. Parang yung kanina, no? Magkakaroon ng year 2 if ang question dito is J2 greater than actually ito hindi na natin hindi na natin kailangan to kasi H9, asan ba yung H9 natin? Okay. Dali i-akyat ko lang ng konti. Ang H9 natin is this one, di ba? This is H9. Years pala to no? So okay lang. No? So this is years, it's okay. Sabi natin dito, if J20, itong previous year na to, if it's greater than 23.58, okay, pero wala namang year kasi na 23.58, so ang ginawa natin dito, re-round up natin. Pag re-round up natin to, okay, this is actually 24, no? Kasi 23.58, okay, so that's 24 na rin bali yan, no? Oops. Yan. If yung previous year natin mas malaki kaysa 24, wag na tayo magdadagdag ng taon kasi tapos na no? Tapos na yung years to pay natin. Otherwise, magdadagdag pa tayo ng isa. Okay, so tingnan natin ang previous year natin 1. Si 1 ba mas malaki kaysa 23.58? Hindi. Kasi matatapos yung natin yung loan 23.58 years, no? So, magdadagdag pa tayo ng isang year dito. Magkakaroon tayo ng year 2. Yun ang ibig sabihin nitong formula na to. So, that will be year 2. Okay, then start. There are several ways to do this. Okay, this is one way, yung formula ko dito. Okay, or another way is just, tingnan nyo 12 to, pwede natin mag-add ng 1 na lang dito para maging yun ang start natin. What I did here was just another way. So, I'm saying here, okay, kung meron pa tayong year dito, maglalagay tayo ng start dito, no? Kung wala ng year to, okay, sabi dito, if J21 is nothing, give us nothing. Parang yung kanina, no? Okay, if value is true, kung may laman tong year na to, anong gagawin natin? What's D11? D11 is 12. Okay, so ang gagawin daw natin, 12 times ano? What's J21? J21, ito yun, no? J and then 21 is the year, no? Year to, no? 2. So this is 2 minus 1. Okay? So this is the compounding 12 times 2 minus 1. What's 2 minus 1? That's 1, no? Okay, so ang mangyayari dito, okay, so that's 12 times 1 and then plus 1. Magdadagdag tayo. So magiging 13 na to. So that will now be your 13. Okay, if I go here, if I copy this, okay, what will happen? It will always be the year, D11 times, what's J22? Okay, ano yung J22 natin? Okay, sorry, D11 is the compounding, not 12. So that's 12 times yung year natin, 3 minus 1. Okay, so 12 times 3 minus 1, diba? That's 2 times 12, that's 24. Okay, and then plus 1. So that's 24 plus 1, magiging 25 to. Dadagdagan lang natin yung previous month. Okay, as I said guys, pwedeng ang formula natin dito will simply be, pwedeng yung if J22 is equal to nothing, give us nothing. Otherwise, it will be yung end, yung previous end, that's L21, okay, L21 and then plus 1. Okay, in order to get the start of the next month. Let me show that. So is equal to if this is nothing, okay, give us nothing. Otherwise, it will be the previous, no, the previous plus 1. Okay. So if we copy this down, okay, pareho lang yan. Okay, 277, 265. Actually, mas simple nga itong formula na yung pinakita ko, no? This one. Okay, so we're done with the start. How about the end? Paano naman yung end? Medyo mas mahaba itong formula natin, ano? Once again, if the year is nothing, give us nothing. Okay. And then if, what's J21? What's J21? J21 is the year, okay? If the year 2 multiplied by 12, okay? Kasi hahanapin natin kung ilang months na yung year 2. So that's 2 times 12, that's 24, no? If it's less than H8 natin, ito. What's our H8? Okay, I will do some modification with this formula, no? Kasi itong H8 natin, naka-ano na siya, naka-round up na siya, no? Okay? So since naka-round up na yon, tatanggalin ko na yung round up dito, no? So I'm going to remove the round up here. I'm sorry for this, no? So H8 na lang. Pwede na H8, no? Okay? So if yung year natin multiplied by 12 para makuha natin yung ending year and ending month, if that's less than yung H8 natin, so dapat naka-fix to, then give us yung year times the frequency that times the 12 months. Otherwise, okay, ang ibibigay sa atin yung last value niya. So that should be H8 na. Okay. In other words, dapat ang pinakahuling it will allow this will now make sure that ang last value natin will be 283. Okay. So there you go. Control enter. Yan 24. Okay, so dito naman maglalagay tayo dito ng ano. Ito yung previous formula natin, no? This is the previous formula yung sa month 1. Ang madadagdag lang to avoid any error, guys, lalagyan natin dito if error. Okay, if error, tapos value if true, yung cumulative interest payment natin, comma, value if false, give us nothing. Okay, so that's what this formula will do, no? Yung if error natin dito, in case magkaroon ng error sa pag-compute natin, no? It will give us nothing. Otherwise, bigay sa atin yung cumulative interest payment. Okay, ganun din dito sa cumulative principal payment if error din. All right? So, we're now going to highlight this cell and then drag it down para sambay na lang natin dito sa 700, no? Although hanggang ano lang naman siya. Anyway, hanggang year 30 lang naman ang pinaka-maximum. Kasi i-drag na lang natin dyan. Okay? Alright, let's check guys kung okay yung formula natin. Okay, kunyari, let's make this 15 years. 15 years, tapos walang payment. Walang extra payment. So dapat 180 yung lalabas dito na ano. 15 years, tapos 180 yung last month natin. Okay? But if we have guys, if we let's say let's give extra payment, kunyari 3,000 extra payment. So instead of 180, ang last month natin dapat 159. So dapat 14 years, no? 159. So let's see kung 159 nga ba yung last month natin. Tama, 159 yung last month natin. Tapos sa year 14 na. Okay, then add natin yung mga interest natin. Interest for year 1, interest for year 2, interest for year 3. Notice, if we plot this, okay, let me, okay. Pag i-plot natin to, I'm going to plot the year and the cumulative interest. Insert. Insert. Okay, then let's plot it. Let's use a scatter plot ito. Okay, what do we notice here? over time, you notice that our cumulative interest payment goes down. Okay? And then our cumulative interest, our cumulative principal goes up. Okay? Hanggang naging konting-konting balance lang yung principal, so clinose na niya, no? Okay, so this is what happens over time. The payment that's for the interest goes down, and then the payment for the principal goes up. Cumulative to, no? Cumulative interest and principal payments. Okay, so that ends our discussion on this. I hope you were able to follow. Should you have any questions, please feel free to PM me or to email me about this. Okay, thank you so much for listening and have a great day.